Alright guys, so we got
Jose Amador,
and he is the band leader for
Natiao Latin Jazz.
So get ready for a good one. Let's start the episode.
Hey, Salsa Steve, going on adventures that you won't believe. Been around the world and back again. Don't miss, make sure that you tuning in. Yeah, hey, good food, good times. Too much fun, so we can't slow down. Got that vibe, he bring that sauce. On the next flight, and we about to take off.
Hey, how you doing today, man?
Very good, Steve. How you doing? Thanks a lot for having me.
Dude, I
Appreciate being here
you.
on Dance Insider.
No, dude, a pleasure, man. Thank you for coming by, taking the time out of your day. But alright, so let's get started. Who is Jose?
You know what? I'm just a kid from Quebradillas, Puerto Rico,
Okay.
who ended up here in San Antonio 24 years ago when I came here with the Army and decided to make San Antonio our home.
Nice. Nice. And here in San Antonio, 26 years?
24 years.
24 years?
Yep.
Wow, man.
So this has become home now. This is definitely home.
Dude, 24 years anywhere is gonna make.
Yeah, absolutely.
Dude.
San Antonio is a great town to live in. You know, it's I've seen it grow from, small, big town to a real big town now.
Dude, it's. I mean, I wasn't here for.
Lots.
I can't imagine what it looked like 24 years ago.
Yeah, it's you see the growth and it's never ending.
Yeah.
So I'm enjoying because with growth comes better opportunities for everyone, especially for us in the music and the dance community, as you are as well. And you see the salsa community growing as well as the jazz and Latin jazz and pretty much for for all genres of music.
Gotcha.
And we've been blessed with great opportunities here in San Antonio.
All right, cool. So tell us more about the music, man. That's a
It's all about the music. I mean, I started playing saxophone when I was 8 years old. My dad had a good friend who was a music teacher, and I don't know how I ended up playing saxophone.
And this is in
Puerto Rico? Yes, it's in Puerto Rico.
Oh, okay.
And but I was always near the percussionist. Him and I were good friends, and so we always mess around. It's easy to mess around with congas and bongos and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I would love to learn the congas, man. I have a pair that I've never actually properly learned them because I've been too busy dancing. It's like it's such an awesome instrument.
It is an awesome instrument, and I think when you talk about salsa, conga and bass are so critical. I mean, that's what keeps the rhythm. You can play just about every. I mean, you can play salsa. If you don't have congas, there's nothing there. I mean, you can do bongos and stuff like that, but congas is probably, and I'm being biased because I'm a conguero, but I think it's the most critical instrument when it comes to salsa.
Yeah.
Because it's what keeps the rhythm for everybody.
I thought that clave was what kept the rhythm.
It does, but when it comes to la clave, of course, is the timbalero, doing la clave. But of course, when it comes to, the depth of the sound of the instrument, is the timbales. I mean, the timbales are great. Don't get me wrong. All the instruments for salsa are great. Timbales are great because the timbalero is like, for example, with us in Natiao Latin Jazz, Gabriel Garcia is our section leader.
Yeah.
For the percussion section, and he's the one who makes all the breaks and the cuts mostly, the way the music is written, but the timbal itself, and if you watch some of the Cuban greats, and I watch documentaries like Buena Vista Social Club and that kind of stuff, it's more of a complementary instrument. The timbal is more of a complementary instrument. Of course, la cáscara and the cowbells and all that stuff, the cencerros, add to it, but it's more of a complementary instrument. While the congas and bongos are more of a rhythm instrument because they stay on rhythm all the time.
Yeah.
And then the timbal can do cuts, add a little bit of sabor, a little bit of azúcar to it, and do his thing.
Yeah.
But I think it's the conga and the bongos that really keep you there.
Yeah. What instrument I really like mambos, like the xylophone.
Yes.
I love,
of course,
when that pops out, Oh my God, I fall in love with a song. It's just such a.
There's a lot of good music with xylophone, and you look at. I can't remember his name right now from San Francisco, from the West Coast. But Tito Puente was a great, xylophone player. Of course, a great Leonard Hamilton as well, as well. There's so many good music with xylophone. And Ruben Blades used to do a lot of stuff when he had Seis del Solar. He will introduce some of the xylophone as well. So yeah, the xylophone it's a cool sound.
Yeah,
it's definitely a cool sound.
All right, so you were young and you got lessons in saxophone, or
yes,
from your dad's friend.
Yes, and he was a good music teacher, and we had a youth orchestra, so he would teach all the instruments. The guy would play trumpet, trombone, sax.
Wow.
He was.
So this guy was a musician.
He was a musician, and very, very nice man. And he was the timbalero for the band, because he would direct from there.
Oh, okay.
And that tells you. I was telling you about La Clave, keeping La Clave.
Yeah.
And his name was Aníbal Acosta. He passed away a few years ago. And his dad was also a musician. And in Puerto Rico, the dad was known because he composed one of the most recognized danzas, which is a genre of music that is original from Puerto Rico. Cuba has the danzón, which has more of a tropical rhythm. Danza in Puerto Rico. Danzón is from Cuba, and it has more of a percussion-y sound to the danza.
Okay.
The danza is more of a like a waltz type of music.
Okay.
And his dad composed, Mr. Acosta's dad, Juan F. Acosta, composed one of the greatest dances in Puerto Rico called Bajo la sombra de un pino, under the pine tree shadow or shade. And they eventually they were not originally from Quebradillas, where I grew up, but they made their way there and settled down there, and that's became good friends with my dad, both his dad and Mr. Aníbal Acosta. And he's one of those guys in a small town that, does so much for the community because he did it for pennies probably. Yeah. And the city hall, the city hall would support a little bit, but I know it was a struggle for him, he was making a living.
Yeah, correct.
And that's how he did it. He was teaching the kids, and he would put this 10, 12, 15 kid band together. It was pretty amazing. We were little kids. I mean, you're talking 8 to 13 probably.
And you guys were just.
And that's what allowed me to play with bigger kids later on.
Okay. Gotcha.
As I got older, then other bands started calling me around town to play sax with them. And then I stopped playing. Believe it or not, I was a basketball player back then, and I had to, it's hard to make a choice. In my town in Puerto Rico, everybody knows Piratas de Quebradillas. Everybody's crazy about basketball there.
Oh yeah.
So I pretty much had to make a choice between music and basketball, and so I started leaning more towards the basketball. So I started kind of moving away from the music a little bit. Then I went to college, and then until I got back to San Antonio for years after, I didn't play at all, other than messing around.
Okay.
I mean, I took like a 30-year break probably.
Oh wow.
Music, where I didn't play at all, and it wasn't here until I got here, settled down. My kids were going to college, that I'd start putting myself out there again, and got lucky and got a couple of breaks, met a couple of nice people, and got to play.
Oh, nice.
Got to play again. So.
Okay, and that was when you got here?
That was here in San Antonio, yeah.
Okay.
In San Antonio, I tell you what, about 10 years ago.
Okay.
Only about 10 years ago.
And then you started playing heavily?
And then I started playing heavily. I played with a band where I met a lot of good people, mainly Daniel Wyman, who until recently, he was my musical director. And Daniel, we became really good friends. Daniel's an excellent. human being, and he's now a pilot for United Airlines.
Okay.
And that's why he's no longer my musical director, because he's a young man, 30 years old, and now he's flying for the regionals for United Airlines, and so now he's doing his thing, what he has to do. Not that he's gonna never come back, he will, but he's been training and now starting to get his first few flights out there. But Daniel gave me opportunities after we played together. He would call me to play with some of his gigs, and then we ended up at Luna for 4 years, and I was his conguero with his band Con La Clave. So when I decided to start Natiao, of course one of the first guys that of course I told him, you got to join me here, was Daniel. Plus the fact that Daniel is so versatile. He's an incredible pianist, and he's an incredible bassist. So it was easy for him to take duties of, if somebody missed the piano, the bassist missed a gig, I can always get another pianist and put him on bass. He was instrumental in my ability to put together Natiao Latin Jazz.
Nice.
Besides Daniel, I have to always do give credit to my mentor, and that is Richie Vega, our trombonist. Richie, I was talking to Richie one time before Natiao, and I was telling him that I was traveling a lot on my other job. I work in healthcare as well, and I was traveling a lot, so it was kind of it was a pain, because I was missing gigs. I couldn't make the gigs, and like we were talking, if you're not around, they'll go somewhere else because they have to, and I totally understand that. So it was Richie Vega. One day I remember it vividly. He said, "Why don't you start your own band?" And I looked at it from the point of view that is such a huge commitment to start your own band. And Natiao is not the big band that it was. I mean, that is now that was not the intent. It wasn't even a salsa band. The intent was a Latin jazz band.
Oh, gotcha.
And Richie's words were, "I'll help you with the music," because I immediately started thinking, okay, I gotta get arrangements. I said, "I'll help you with the music. Take care of put the band together, and take care of everything else."
Can you help me understand? So, Latin jazz can be salsa, but salsa cannot be Latin jazz.
The way I look at it, and maybe some of the other experts see it different. They're two distinct genres.
They're two distinct genres.
As far as I'm concerned, there's two distinct genres that share something in common, and that is some of the beat.
Okay.
So but if Latin jazz is instrumental, right? Nowadays you look at bossa novas and sambas, and people mix it up with Latin jazz as more Brazilian music. But the Latin jazz, the original Latin jazz, is an instrumental art form. That parts come from the jazz that for years and years was instrumental until they started, getting great singers out there. Judy Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, they're all considered incredible jazz singers. And salsa is. I tell you what, salsa is probably people don't realize how difficult salsa is for a musician. I've seen good, solid musicians fail at salsa. I want to say that.
Oh yeah.
Because salsa is complicated on the point of you have so many different areas in a song of salsa. You have the intro, then you have the singer coming in. Then you have the coro, then you might go into a moña, then you might come back into a coro, then you might go into a mambo and come back into a coro, then you will have solos in there, then you finally, get out to the coda and get out of the song and finish the song. And, just like jazz, salsa can be very improvisational as well. Because as one thing that I always pay attention when I'm playing is, how's the crowd doing? To me, the most important thing is the crowd, is the dancers. Of course, the music is top. You gotta you got to be 100% of the music.
Correct.
But you're there for a reason, and that's to entertain the attendance, the people, the audience that come to see you and dance. So you take a song, for example, and if you see that some people dancing and stuff, then you might want to, okay, let's get out of this song, let's move to the next one. But if you start a song and all of a sudden the dance floor gets packed, then you want to extend that song.
I mean, you're literally like a live DJ.
You want to extend that song, and you want people dancing until, okay, we've gone, and with Natiao, sometimes we go 9, 10, 11 minutes very easily.
Man.
Rather than when a song is usually the way it was recorded, it's a 5-minute song. And remember, songs are recorded, and back in the day, they probably still do, but it was recorded for radio. So you got to have 3-4 minute songs. That's why you see so many great songs. That was 3 or 4 minutes, and you're out because it was recorded for radio. That was the whole intent. But when you're playing live, you're not. You're playing for the dancer. You're playing for the audience,
the crowd that's there.
For the crowd that is there. So it takes it takes good musicians and a good director to lead you along the way. To tell you, okay, let's go back to the moña we did before, or let's go back, let's have a piano solo. All that stuff is.
Is that happening on the fly?
On the fly.
Oh, that's happening on the fly.
On the fly.
Someone is directing.
The director is telling, okay, let's.
Oh, so there is someone up there, but is the director playing an instrument at this moment?
Yes.
And he's. And how does he notify him when everything's going crazy?
Our director right now is Richie Vega, our trombone player that I just mentioned. And Richie's such a veteran. Richie's been doing this for 40 plus years.
Okay.
And not only is he a veteran, but he's always had a great feel for the music, and for how everyone is. It's like a basketball team where somebody's hot, making baskets, and you keep passing them the ball. Richie has that feel. If he knows that a trumpet player tonight is hot, he's gonna be giving him solos.
That's funny. I didn't really understand it from that point of view. That's a weird point of view. That's since you see a band, you kind of think of it's kind of almost recorded already. You practice, and you don't really think that much is happening behind the scenes. Someone is doing something. And
there is a lot going on back there.
That's funny. So he's passing him the ball. Kobe's hot tonight.
Yeah.
We're passing him the ball all night.
Yeah, and
that's funny.
And that includes your singer.
Okay.
If you have a good sonero who can make it on the fly, our current singer, Danny Rodriguez, is really good. And you just let him go. Just let him go. Our previous singer, Anthony Ibanez, was also amazing. Anthony, we would just let him sonar until he looked back and said, okay, I had it. He was so good at it.
Yeah.
And then that makes, you look at soneros like Gilberto Santa Rosa, Victor Manuel, who have that gift of coming up with a line on the fly.
Yeah.
That's hard to do. And that's just part of the complications of salsa music. Plus the fact that you're playing, in a salsa song, you can be playing salsa, guaguancó, bomba, plena, all of it in one song. All those different rhythms. That's what we're saying. It's salsa. Salsa ain't easy. Let's put it that way.
The way I always thought of salsa is there was at least from a dancer point of view, they're always salsa is an umbrella for so many different types of dances, especially coming from the poppy world. Salsa, if you tell salsa to anybody, they'll be like, oh, you mean like a Romeo Santos song? The salsa umbrella will fall under so much Latin.
Well, yeah, people think of salsa and they think of everything, right?
Almost.
They think of they think of bachata, they think of merengue.
Yeah.
Exactly. That kind of thing. But salsa is salsa, bachata is bachata.
Yeah.
Merengue is merengue, completely different
But
genres.
we know that.
Yeah, exactly.
But we're always, that's what we do.
Let's call it Latin music. Let's call it Latin music. I think Latin music that is more encompassing of a title for every salsa included.
Yeah, correct. So what goes into orchestrating the band? Or not during live, I'm saying it's that you need a conguero, that you need I guess like timbalero, or do you try to figure out what to work with?
Well, you gotta have your basics. You gotta have your timbalero, conguero, piano, bass, bongocero, campana, obviously, and then you decide. Okay, the key is what horns are you gonna have? What kind of winds are you gonna have? You know, you're gonna have 2 trumpets, 2 trombones, and I do rotate. You know, sometimes we have 2 trumpets, sometimes we have 1 trumpet, saxophone, a tenor also plays the flute, and the soprano and the alto for the merengues and all that other stuff, and then a trombone or 2. All depends on how I feel. All depends on the budget.
Correct.
Of how much they're paid. Of course, Natiao Latin Jazz in its current composition is 11 of us. We got 2 trumpets, sax, trombone. We're having a show here the next couple of days where we're gonna have 2 trombones, 1 trumpet, and one tenor sax. And that's because the show we're playing is a tribute to Willie Colon, Ruben Blades, and Hector Lavoe. And everybody knows Willie Colon's bands usually have 2 or 3 trombones.
Oh, okay.
You know, so it's trombone heavy music.
Gotcha.
And so we're doing it the same way Willie Colon did it. We're having 2 trombones and a trumpet for some of the
Where's
songs.
that event at?
That's gonna be at Jazz Texas, where
Jazz Texas.
yeah, where I have my residency for the last 3.5 years. Every first and third Thursdays.
First and third Thursdays.
Yes. So we're doing a full tribute all night long. For salseros, it's gonna be heaven, because I'm sorry about the bachata friends, but there'll be no bachata, there'll be no merengue, it'll be nothing but salsa.
That's my treat right
nothing
there.
But Hector Lavoe music. Some of the stuff he did with Willie Colon, some of the stuff he did on his own, and the same with Ruben Blades. Some of the stuff. So the music that he recorded with Willie Colon, and some of the music that he recorded later on his own.
Okay.
So it should be there's a lot of cloth to cut there there's so much music that those guys have. We could do a tribute every week and never replay a song. Those are true, you know, salsa music legends, black music legends.
So you said you had the basics, and then so once you have your guys, the minimal amount of guys that it takes to have a salsa band, then you guys have to practice every week, or how does this?
Of course, when you first start a band, you gotta build your repertoire, right? You don't have any songs.
You don't have any songs. Yeah.
So
you gotta get a song.
So you gotta get songs in. You gotta find your arranger, and like I said, I've been blessed once again with my mentor Richie Vega, because Richie does all the arrangements, and Richie has all the arrangements that he can bring to bear.
What's an arrangement?
All the charts for every instrument.
Okay.
So everything there for the trumpet, the trombone, the percussion, all the
charts. When you say charts, you mean like reading music?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
All the charts are there. All that's your guide for a musician. That's your guide. So Richie at the beginning he just said, here, let's get together, and he gave me a list. This is what I got available right now. What do you want to do? So I started picking some songs that I like. And like I said, when we first started Natiao Latin Jazz in 2015, there were 5 of us. That was it.
Okay.
Congas, drummer, not a timbalero, but a drummer with a set of timbales.
He was a drummer with a set of timbales. So he didn't know how to play the timbales?
No, he did. No.
Oh, okay.
He had his whole drum kit.
Gotcha.
With a set of timbales there, so he was playing those.
Oh, so he can play
as well.
Gotcha.
So congas, drummer, piano, bass, and 1 horn. That was it.
All right.
That's how we started. Then first thing we added was a second horn. We started with Richie on trombone. Then we added Jerry Espinosa, who's been with me. He's one of the founding members as well, Natiao. He's been with me since the beginning as our sax player. Jerry's a wonderful, I call him Smooth Jerry Espinosa because he's really a smooth player. He's a wonderful sax player, and he plays all types of sax. Sopranos, we use sopranos on songs La Conciencia, some of the Latin jazz songs like Mindanao. It's got a great soprano in it. So he brings his soprano, his flute as well. So that's how we grew into six. Well, we had a Jerry shortly after we began, and so we started playing here and there, and people started asking for salsa. So at that point,
what were you playing before? Latin jazz?
Yes, it was nothing but Latin jazz before.
I'm so confused on what would be an example of a Latin jazz song that you would play?
I mean, I'm trying to think. One of the stuff that Caravan. Caravan is one of the most recognized Latin jazz songs in the history. Caravan, Night in Tunisia.
Night in Tunisia
is a great song.
That's a great song.
This great Dizzy
That
Gillespie.
is a great song.
Great Dizzy Gillespie song. We would play. What else did we play back there? Back in the day. Bernie's Tune is one of my favorite tunes. Lucky Southern is one of my. It's like a bossa nova type Latin jazz song by Keith Jarrett. Those were the first few songs that we started with. We did Mindanao as well. I'm trying to think what else we do back in the day. Morning, I love Morning by Claire Fisher. It's one of my favorite songs. I still play that song a lot. This is a nice little cha-cha Latin jazz song. So that we got away with doing Latin jazz strictly. Then of course the community here started asking for salsa. And they started saying, "Hey, do you do any salsa?" And at the time, what I started doing, I started inviting a friend of mine, started inviting Jaime Ramos to sing a couple songs, whatever we played. Then my drummer had to leave. He was too busy with his regular job, and he was playing with another band. And he said, "I don't want to do anything to jeopardize your band. I don't have the time, and I don't want to be missing gigs or rehearsals." And we were lucky to have Georgie Padilla, which is a great percussionist from Puerto Rico. I just moved back to San Antonio, and he's also a good singer. So we put him on timbales, and Georgie is a conguero by trade, but we put him on timbales, and he did the singing and the timbales for a year. He did that. And by then, Natiao then grew a little bit more. By then we added a trumpet player. We still didn't have a bongocero. And so Georgie carried us out throughout the first year of Natiao as a salsa Latin jazz group. And I still do a lot of Latin jazz.
Gotcha.
I mean, Latin jazz is my favorite genre of music. Even I apologize to the salseros out there, but even more than so, I never get too far away.
Gotcha.
I continue to add to our Latin jazz repertoire. And I've added some good songs, and in the last couple of months. So Georgie then took us through that. Then Georgie left. He moved on to bigger, better things, and we brought in a full-time singer at that point.
Okay.
And that was Gilberto Alvarez. It's a Cuban guy who had been here from San Antonio. He just moved back to Florida about 2 years ago. But he was here in San Antonio, and he's been here for 10 or 11 years. So Gilberto was a great addition because he had great flavor, to his singing. Coming from Cuba, he just had it, he was born with it. He had a great voice.
That's great.
And great sense of humor. So Gilberto was the next one that came on board. Going back, you asked how you have to rehearse.
Yeah, of course.
That, to me, that's the key. And I hate to say it, but musicians don't want to rehearse. They want to go play. They want just give me the charts, and we gotta play. And
that's a good dancer too, man. I just want to dance. I don't want to practice.
They don't want to practice. That's exactly right. That's it. And I the guys that know me, and I laugh because it's taken. You go through some musicians, and they're all good. They're all good musicians. They're all my friends. I don't have any musicians that left my band or that are not my friends. It's just business, right? That's a part of the business.
Correct.
That people will come and go. But the rehearsing part, to me, I'm a stickler for that particular detail. That you have to rehearse, you have to, and we do rehearse every 4 to 5 weeks. We have a solid rehearsal, and usually the rehearsal for us is only to add new songs. So we keep adding to a repertoire.
So you got like advanced musicians.
No, I mean these guys are real musicians. I'm just a hack. I mean these guys are master's degree from their universities in music and Latin performance and
because
in
if you're only rehearsing every 4 weeks,
these guys are really talented. All of them: Jerry Espinosa, Daniel Wyman, Chris Villanueva, our pianist from UNT Jazz School. Josh Lowe is now our bassist, and he's also a guy who's with a degree from Texas State. Texas State has a really good salsa program. We're blessed with that. So they produce some really good musicians, and so we continue to have that, pool of musicians that keep coming up and getting better as they play more, live bands rather than the school. So we've been blessed with a lot of those guys who graduated from there, and from other schools as well. So all these guys, Richie Vega also has a degree in music, our musical director. He was a music teacher for a long time before he joined the Army and became an Army musician. So the thing is to get the right guys. It's like I always looked at, having been a basketball player, I always looked at music as a team sport.
Yeah.
Especially
for a band, I could imagine.
It's a team concept. It has to be a team. Everybody has to be pulling in the same direction. You can't have one guy wanting to be better than, showing off or all that stuff. When that happens, you take the band out of balance. You want them to shine. When it's time to solo, they gotta go for it. I mean, but when it's time to play together, you all have to be same page.
Gotcha.
And sometimes it's hard to find the right guys. I've been lucky because I had the same guys probably for about last 3 years. Where if somebody left, like Daniel, it's because he was going to fly for the airlines. It's not that he didn't want to leave. It's that we've been very the chemistry is there, number one, and the continuity. Because like everything else, the more we play together,
the better.
And the thing about music is, this is what I love about music the most, is that every time you play, it's a different experience. You can play the same song. You can go to Jazz Texas and play one song all night long and repeat it over and over and over, and it'll be a completely new experience. Because music is like that. Live music is like that. I won't hit the congas the same way. The timbalero won't hit the timbales the same way. The trumpet player won't hit the same solo. I mean,
that is so true with live music.
With live music, and you can have one night where you fall in love with one song, and you say, "Man, we gotta play that song again in 2 weeks." And then you play it, and it was like, it was alright.
That's so true. I went to BIG Houston Salsa Congress, and Tromboranga came.
Yes.
And it was amazing. I thought it was probably one of the better performances I think I've ever seen. But the best part is I think those are the trumpets.
The trombones,
right?
yeah.
The trombones. There was 3 trombone guys, especially one guy, and they came down into the crowd, and the trombones are just so big, and they caused like a chaos, and we were all I didn't even want to dance at that point. I was just watching. I was like, wow, it's like a great experience, and it's like they could play a song again, the same thing won't happen.
It won't happen. Unfortunately, you cannot model it up and
you
reproduce it. All you can do is stay with your fundamentals.
Yeah.
Know that you can play the song really well every time you go out.
Exactly.
And the other thing, and this is what I love about the members of Natiao Latin Jazz, all of them, is that these guys, they bring it every time. It doesn't matter where we're playing, how long we're playing, the energy is always there. They come to play. They don't come to earn a paycheck and go home. Okay, we played. They come to really enjoy the art of music and the art of playing or of their craft. You know, and that's so important because sometimes you see bands and you notice that they're just going through the motions. You know, like everything else in life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm not singling out bands, the music industry. It's like every other industry. You know when people are mailing it in. You know, like they're just trying to get over it. Just get over this and move on. These guys, I can guarantee you that you won't come see Natiao Latin Jazz and not feel the energy from these guys.
Yeah.
Because they'll play their hearts out every single time. That's a guarantee.
All right. And you've had these guys for like how many years now?
We've been together 5 years now. The band has been together for 5 years, the original band. So the core of the group has been together for about 3 years now.
All right. And around town, I mean, what are the events that you're currently doing?
Well, I say our bread and butter, and God bless Doc Watkins for Jazz Texas.
Correct.
Because Jazz Texas is a fantastic jazz club.
It's a beautiful venue.
This town doesn't have anything like it. I mean, there's some good venues in town, but Jazz Texas has taken San Antonio to another level.
It is gorgeous. I love going there. It is like pristine.
So we've been blessed to be there since they opened.
Mm-hmm.
They opened in August 22nd, 23rd of 2016, and I have been talking to Doc Watkins, the owner and band leader, for a few months before, probably about a year. He kept telling me, "I want to open the club. It's still, they were building it and everything else." So finally, before he opened, he said, "Let's do a salsa night." So our first salsa night there was September 8th, 2016, and we started doing it once a month. We started September, October, November. After the November gig, Doc came and said, "Why don't we do this twice a month?"
Hey.
And I said, "Oh, sure." So we've been there twice a month since November of 2016, and it's been a complete success. It's been great for our band because we've gotten an incredible exposure out of there. A lot of good musicians come through there. Corporate events, we do a lot of corporate events, weddings, quinceañeras, that kind of thing, where we've been able to entertain folks in that. And I think our biggest, one of the things that I'm the most proud of is our participation in the San Antonio Jazz Alive Jazz Fest.
Alive?
Yes, which is the biggest jazz fest in South Texas, and here in San Antonio. It's September of every year.
September.
And it's been happening for 35 years.
Oh wow! So it's a big festival then. If it's 35 years.
35 years going, and the 24 years that I've been here, I've seen everybody there. Poncho Sanchez, Eddie Palmieri, Diane Reeves just came in. I mean, I've seen some really good acts, and the fact that we were able to play on that same stage with this little band from San Antonio, Natiao Latin Jazz, was amazing. When you get up there and you look at the park and there's 5,000-10,000 people sitting there waiting for you to play.
That's cool.
And we were I think we probably were the first salsa band to play out there, and we did, it's a jazz fest, so we did a lot of Latin jazz. But I played a couple of salsa songs, and people were just screaming more salsa.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
I feel like salsa has that.
Yeah. People were just loving it. We had an incredible reception, and to the point, I was in 2017, to the point where last September, we got called to play their after party when they finished the jazz fest. The city at the San Antonio Parks Foundation, Mary J. Barrett, who's awesome to me as well. We got called to do the after party for the jazz fest.
Okay.
That was a lot of fun too.
That must have been a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun.
Did you get to meet Poncho Sanchez?
No, I didn't get to meet those guys.
Oh man!
I did get to meet some of the folks from Eddie Palmieri when he came into town a few years ago, and that was a lot of fun. And I met some of the folks from Spanish Harlem Orchestra when they've been in town.
Yeah.
You know, Oscar Hernandez and Georgie Delgado, Luisito Quintero. Some of those guys I've had the pleasure of meeting as well. Those are also, Oscar Hernandez is a legend as well. It's Ruben Blades, a musical director and arranger and composer, and you know, believe it or not, he's very well known for his theme song for Sex and the City on HBO. That is his
I didn't know that.
That is his composition. That is him playing.
That's funny.
So Oscar he's a great jazz master, and he puts out some fantastic jazz albums with the Spanish Harlem Orchestra and under his own name as well. He's one of the pioneers. He's an amazing guy.
All right. And what's one of your other events?
This is good for the Salsero community here, the Salsa community. We just started a last Thursday of the month at this place called Shela's Tacos Restaurant, right on North St. Mary's and Mulberry, 3420 St. Mary's, North St. Mary Street. It's got a great dance floor. The restaurant is huge. It's a long, wide place. It's got a great bar, great food, and we just started in February. And we did 2 nights in February. We happened to do a pre-Valentine's Day, the day before Valentine's, and then we did last Thursday of the month. And looks like we're moving it forward. So I'm asking the community to come and check it out, and it's, because that's so important. I can never say enough about supporting live music. And I know that people they like their DJs and all that stuff, but there's no substitute for live music. And take into consideration the fact that these guys, they go to school, they work very hard to become musicians, and that's the only way that they can, practice their craft. And for guys like me, in order to get a gig and pay my musicians and pay them well, I need the community support.
Correct.
And that's why it's so important. And when I talk to all the dance studios here in town, I tell them, you guys have to come out here, make it a field trip or something once in a while, and support live music, because then what happens is that then people complain, well, there's no good places to go dance.
Yeah.
I say, yeah, but if we come up with an idea, if I'm working with a venue owner and they're financially invested in because they're already paying for the band, and that's a big investment for some of the smaller
Correct.
Restaurants and venues, we need to support that effort.
Correct.
And you know what, Steven, the other place that I don't want to overlook, because he's been great to me, is Luna. I know the ownership there for years and years. They supported me with Natiao Latin Jazz, with my other Latin jazz group Terra Nova as well. Because you know that I have a smaller group called Terra Nova, which we do nothing but Latin jazz with Terra Nova. And so he's been very, very supportive. I play there several times a year. For the last, I think, we're in our third year of doing the Celia Cruz birthday party.
Hey.
We do it every October, usually the third weekend of October. We bring a guest lady singer. Last year we brought Kathleen Hernandez, who happens to be from Cuba, and she is magnificent. And we had a heck of a show.
Nice.
Sing. We played probably 18 songs that night, and 10 of them were Celia Cruz songs.
Nice.
And then we mix it up with a little Latin jazz, a little merengue, a couple of bachatas, that kind of thing.
Luna's a nice place.
Luna is a very, very nice venue.
It's open real late on Wednesdays till 2 o'clock in the morning.
And I like Luna. It's more of a casual place.
It is a
more casual place. It's
they have good drinks.
They're great drinks. It's more relaxed. They have a great sound system. I have to tell you that. The owner is also a sound guy, and he stays in that booth and he puts that sound until it's not perfect. He doesn't leave the booth. He makes all the adjustments the first few songs. Sometimes you see him there the entire set, and that's a credit to him, and to making sure that all the groups that perform on his stage sound great.
Gotcha.
So and sound is very, very important, obviously.
Yeah, I mean,
you can have the best band in the world. You don't have a good sound system or a good sound tech. Taking care of it, it can ruin your night.
It can ruin everyone's night.
Yes.
I've been to a couple places and it's like, dude, there's something off about the sound up here.
Yeah, and we happen to have our own sound guy in our band.
Oh, nice.
Juan Padin is our background vocalist and percussionist, and Juan is a sound guy with 30-some years of experience for some of the biggest acts in the world when it comes to Latin music. Juan's been here in San Antonio for about 15 years, but before he was in Puerto Rico, and he had his own sound company where he would do sound for El Gran Combo, La Sonora Ponceña, Ricky Martin, all the way back to Menudo. That's how far back he goes as a sound guy. Mark Anthony, he's done everything. He's done everything. So he's a perfectionist. He's a great sound guy. He's got great equipment, and I'm blessed to have him as part. He's also a great musician. He's a great guirero, maraquero. So I've been blessed to have Juan join me since probably after the first year. That's why he joined me. It's been great to have him on board.
Nice.
And let me just mention, by the way, on piano is for Natiao Jazz, Chris Villanueva on piano. Josh Lowe is our bassist. Gabriel Garcia is our timbalero. Rene Gonzalez is our bongocero. Mariano Escobedo is our lead trumpet. Curtis Calderon is our other trumpet player, who's fantastic. The Latin trumpet, Curtis Calderon. Jerry Espinosa is our sax guy. Richie Vega is our trombone player and musical director. And Juan Padin, as I mentioned, is our background vocalist and percussionist. And Danny Rodriguez is our lead vocalist.
Nice.
As well. So that's the composition. Of course, me.
When we share this video, we gotta make sure to tag them. Make sure we got their credit.
Sure.
But is there anything else that you would like to share that you have on top of your head? Any other upcoming events?
Well, upcoming events, as far as that I stick to my residency. That keeps me busy twice. Natiao doesn't play a lot out there.
Correct.
We're not that we want to, but guys they play with other bands and stuff, and I hate to be bringing a lot of subs all the time.
Yeah.
So I kind of pick and choose the gigs where I can get
all your guys.
90% of the band in place. If you start bringing, I gotta bring a pianist, a bass, it's not the same chemistry, it's not the same sound.
Gotcha.
So I'm really touchy about that, to make sure that we have our guys present. And that's probably why we don't play more often, besides the fact that sometimes we play and people don't know because it's a corporate event, so I won't advertise.
Gotcha.
I can tell you that we played 6 times in February.
Nice.
And that was a lot.
Yeah.
That took a lot out of me in getting things ready to go.
Yeah. I can imagine that's a lot.
That was a lot.
I think you named off like 10 guys.
Yeah.
To coordinate 10 people.
That was a lot that we had going on.
Nice.
March is kind of a good month. It's gonna go kind of nice and easy, and then April we start getting into Fiesta.
Beautiful.
So we already have an extra gig for Fiesta that we did last year at Brook City Base called Chanclas y Cervezas, and that was a lot of fun. It was at San Antonio Green Line Park back there.
Oh, you're gonna be playing there?
Yeah,
I think I put it on Facebook, but I'm going.
We're gonna be there. We're gonna play the 5:30 to 6:45 set.
Nice.
It's a set that we requested that we can play.
Beautiful.
So and we'll have the full big band there, because I do smaller stuff like Jose Amador and Friends, which is 7 of us, just 2 horns, and Danny Rodriguez, our singer, is also a great percussionist, so he will play some percussion there, help out with the campana and the bongos. Especially he'll do the bongos all throughout Latin jazz and campana, and then when he's singing, then he'll pick and choose when he can. He can pick up the campana or the bongos. So one event, and I want to mention it. I think it's for members only, but it's such a great event. It's a San Antonio institution. It's the rooftop at Art Pace, and that's May 22nd, and that's gonna be a heavy duty Latin jazz night. And
Art Pace.
Art Pace. That's part of the Linda Pace legacy from the Pace family, who had the Pace salsa.
Gotcha.
Salsa, eating salsa, not dancing salsa. It's very well known here in San Antonio. And that's a KRTU event, Trinity University's great jazz station. And I've also had a great relationship with them, and they've been very supportive of me, the band, our music. And we've had the honor of playing for that evening. It's a Friday from 9 to 10:45. And one thing that is always fun is that the event gets recorded for radio live. And then what they do is they curate the event, they make it into a 1-hour show, and then they broadcast it in their show called the South Texas Jazz Project, which is a great show on Thursdays and Saturdays. I think it's Thursdays like at 7 to 8, and then Saturdays like around 6:30. I think they do it both times the same week, and throughout the year they'll play it over again, and it's always fun. We did an event last year, April 14th of last year. I remember because it was Palm Sunday at the Whitty Museum for the jazz series, for the Whitty Museum Jazz Series, and they recorded it, and I have the recordings for it, and it was such a great show. It was a beautiful day. It was a beautiful crowd. The setting outside by the river, like an amphitheater type thing. It was just a beautiful, beautiful afternoons. And it's events like that you really, that is what you build on, not only on your memory, but you build on for the band.
Yeah. Because
the band knows that they're playing some cool events.
The band resume,
Yes, and let me tell you what, San Antonio music lovers are great.
Yeah.
Because they really come to appreciate the music. It doesn't matter where we play, you always get the compliments from the folks, which is what makes all your hard work. Knowing that you touch people with the music is the reason we do it.
Gotcha.
So every musician does it. It's a paycheck, it's a paycheck, but it's really not the reason. Anybody who's doing this for a paycheck is not going to be successful. No. You got to do it because you love the music and because you love bringing the music to the people. And believe me, I've had people tell me stories about how music has changed their lives, and it really touches you. When you come and say, you know what, I come see you because you bring me up, or it's something else.
Yeah,
it's something else.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. I mean, when I'm having a bad day, man, and I go listen to live music and dance,
you forget about everything.
Everything, man. That day, it just gets wiped.
Exactly.
But all right, man. Do you have any questions for me?
Well, Steven, for you is, how do you end up in San Antonio from Fort Myers, Florida?
Oh man, dude. So I have hopped around a lot. I went to Gainesville for school, and then school.
Go Gators.
Yeah, the Gators. Yeah, and then in school, I got my first job. I applied to jobs all over the United States, and I got my first job in Denver.
Okay.
And then spent like 6 years there. That's where I met like my dance mentor, Edie, the salsa freak. And
that's funny.
And then my brother actually got stationed here in the Air Force after he was in Las Vegas. So then I looked for an opportunity, I found a job, and I just moved down here.
Cool.
I was like,
smart move.
Yeah.
I like Denver though. I was telling you that I used to work in Denver from here.
Don't get me wrong, I love Denver. I just hate that it's cold 6 months out of the year, and I can't stand that snow. Yeah. Even if it melts every couple days, it's still really cold.
Yes, it is cold.
Like for the whole time, it's like way too cold. And then, but during like the summer and like the autumn and the spring, it's really, really nice. but the cost of living too.
It is.
It
Well,
is insane.
That's one of the. Let me tell you, that's one of the reasons we stayed in San Antonio. I came here with the Army in '96, and I retired in 2000. And one of the reasons was the weather. Number one.
Yeah.
I mean, and the cost of living in San Antonio. When you look at other cities, the same size, same scope of city with the same, amenities of a city, and then you look at the cost of living here's always been great, even though it's going up.
It is going up.
We understand as the city progresses, more people are moving in.
Correct.
So, supply and demand kind of thing, houses become more expensive and that kind of stuff. But it's still a bargain when you look around.
No,
When I go to
insane.
Dallas or Austin or Houston, it's still a bargain here in San Antonio.
Bargain, man. Like, you're not gonna find a full 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house for $200,000 in a whole lot of places that you want to live.
Yes, that's true.
That San Antonio is a great town, and if you can find a whole house for you can't even find that in Denver. You're not gonna find it anywhere within any reasonable amount of time from Denver.
You got all those Californians moving to Denver. That's
all of them.
They're moving here too.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah, but there's so much land here. There's so much space. It's gonna take a lot more time. Denver's a small city compared to San Antonio.
Yeah.
So,
Denver's a nice town. I like Denver.
It's beautiful. I'm not gonna lie.
It's just too cold. I spent enough time in the cold weather. I lived in Boston and I lived in New York.
Yeah.
I lived in Seattle before coming here, and I knew that when I retired from the military, I was gonna live somewhere in the Sun Belt, from North Carolina on down.
Yeah.
Nowhere where it was hot, nowhere it was cold. I had my share of cold weather.
If I move anywhere, I'm going even more south.
More south.
South of the border.
Florida. I love Florida. That's what I told you. I have a connection with Florida as a kid as well.
Okay.
And I have a place in Florida where I go hide once in a while in
nice.
Sarasota. So when I need to recharge my batteries, I just fly to Florida, spend a few days, a week, 9 days, and then come back.
Nice.
So.
All right, man. Well, that's the episode, man. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Steve.
I appreciate it,
brother.
All right, guys. See you later.